Netflix's The Witcher showrunner Lauren Hissrich has shared her version of why Henry Cavill decided to leave the series following the conclusion of season 3. Wrote this up over at phantompulse.com. You can find the link in the description below. So this is what Lauren Hissrich said while promoting the upcoming season 4, with Liam Hemsworth taking the place of Henry Cavill as Geralt of Rivia. She told Entertainment Weekly this: he had plans for other roles that he really wanted to commit himself to, and for us, you don't want to hold someone and force them to be doing something that they don't want to do. I think that's why it felt like a really symbiotic decision. So that is pretty much what she said there to Entertainment Weekly. It does sound similar to what she told Total Film back in May 2023. She said it was time for him in his life to move on. I think we've all been mourning this in our own way. We had the choice to have Geralt exit and to end the show, but that's not something that we were willing to do. There's just too many stories left to tell. Now, obviously, there were all kinds of rumors as well that were going on. There were clearly indications that there were some creative problems between Henry Cavill and the Witcher team over there. Obviously, Cavill was very clear that he wanted to do stuff that would be true to the source material, and that is not what the Witcher team over at Netflix was providing him and giving us as fans. And I think it's still safe to assume that that probably factored into Henry's decision, on top of the fact that he did have probably other plans in the works. Usually, and this is not something that I did, but usually when you're going to leave something, you get other things lined up. But sometimes that just doesn't happen. But anyways, I think that's probably what happened. Cavill saw the writing on the wall, didn't want to really be attached to what they were doing with The Witcher anymore, and decided to get some things lined up to move forward, move away from The Witcher. And in fact, he seemed like he was going to be back at DC and was going to be playing Superman, because at the end of October 2022, he wrote an Instagram post: "My journey as Geralt of Rivia has been filled with both monsters and adventures, and alas, I will be laying down my medallion and my swords for season 4. In my stead, the fantastic Mr. Liam Hemsworth will be taking up the mantle of the White Wolf. As with the greatest of literary characters, I pass the torch with reverence for the time spent embodying Geralt, and enthusiasm to see Liam's take on the most fascinating and nuanced of men. Liam, good sir, this character has such a wonderful depth to him. Enjoy diving in and seeing what you can find." Then, just after that, he announced on October 24th that he would be returning to Superman, saying in a post to Instagram, "A very small taste of what's to come, my friends, the dawn of hope renewed. Thank you for your patience. It will be rewarded. Hashtag Superman." In the attached video, he said, "I wanted to make it official that I am back as Superman. And the image you see in this post and what you saw in Black Adam are just a very small taste of what's to come." However, he would not return to Superman, aside from the cameo at the end of Black Adam, as Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav appointed James Gunn and Peter Safran to co-run DC Studios. Gunn and Safran chose to cast David Cornsweet as Superman instead of continuing with Cavill. Nevertheless, in December 2022, Cavill announced he was working on creating a live-action Warhammer cinematic universe. He posted to Instagram, "For 30 years, I have dreamt of seeing a Warhammer universe in live action. Now, after 22 years of experience in the industry, I finally feel that I have the skill set and experience to guide a Warhammer cinematic universe into life. Partnering with Natalie Viscuso at Vertigo has been a blessing beyond words. Without her, we might not have found the perfect home at Amazon. And having a home like Amazon will give us the freedom to be true to the massive scope of Warhammer. To all of you Warhammer fans out there, I promise to respect this IP that we love. I promise to bring you something familiar, and I endeavor to bring you something fantastic that is, as of yet, unseen." So even in that post there where he's announcing Warhammer, he's talking about being true to the massive scope of Warhammer and then promising to respect the IP that we love. So while he was clearly getting other things set up, I think with DC, with Warhammer, obviously the DC thing didn't work out. I do still think there is legitimacy to the fact that he had creative issues with the way that Lauren Hissrich and her team over at Netflix were treating The Witcher show. And he did not want to be a part of that anymore because he did not find that they were treating it with the respect that it deserved. And that is why he moved on. And I think we kind of see that here in this Warhammer post that he made as well. And on top of Warhammer, he's also going to be starring in the upcoming reboot of Highlander. He's actually got injured doing some production training for that, and he shared a photo recently of his injured foot, and he also was teasing some of the Warhammer stuff he potentially has happening over there at Amazon MGM Studios. He also has the Voltron film at Amazon MGM Studios, and he will also appear in the movie In the Gray, Squadron 42, Enola Holmes 3 with Netflix, and the Rosie Project. So he has a lot on his plate, and obviously has a lot going on even after leaving The Witcher, but I still think there's more to the story than what Lauren Hissrich is letting on here. I do think that there were massive creative problems between Henry, Lauren Hissrich, and the team at Netflix because they were not being true to the source material. And I think that really played a big role into why Henry left, not just the fact that he had plans for other roles. I think obviously because he had those problems, he started looking for new opportunities, and that led him to find these plans for other roles outside of The Witcher. Because I didn't include in this article, but I think he said that he was ready to go for 7 seasons of The Witcher if they were true to the source material. Obviously, he only made it through 3, and many of the fans didn't even make it through to the 3rd season because they believed that Henry had already left before the 3rd season even aired, even though he did do the 3rd season. I remember Netflix and Witcher having to say, like, Henry's still Geralt. They were running like ads trying to like remind people that Henry was still Geralt, even though he had made that announcement that he wasn't going to be returning. But it was just kind of funny that they had to do that. But that is what Lauren Hissrich had to say. Let me know what you guys make of this. Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, especially to each other, and to always, always speak the truth.
Why would you be afraid of the people? Why are you not afraid of God instead of man?